The best kind of gifts are gifts where someone just goes, he'll like that. You just see something and just give it to you completely out of context for there's no event or anything or any special occasion to give you a gift. And those are the most fun to receive, really, the ones that I actually like. But that's a subject. We could talk about gifts as a subject for another day. Today I want to talk about the gift that I got, which is a bunch of Magic cards. We actually have 4 decks. 2 of them are completely unopened, which is a ready-to-play 30-card deck and quick start guide. And just, I don't know, box thing with a bunch of cards. There's actually 5 40-card monochromatic decks. And in case you don't know what monochromatic is, we'll explain that in a second. This is really cool. I actually really like Magic. I didn't really play it as a kid. I didn't actually ever play too much. I don't think I've ever really purchased a ton of cards. In case you're unfamiliar with Magic, which really you're unfamiliar with Magic, but still, it's a collectible card game. It's been there before I existed, during my childhood, and it definitely exists right now with full force. There's tournaments, there's cards being created and printed, and it's probably the longest running collectible card game in the world, and it's pretty great. The core remains the same, and obviously they add a little bit of new mechanics here and there as the years go by and new cards are created and more different generations of Magic cards and blah, 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 blah. So I never really played Magic. I never played a ton of Magic because it's a collectible card game, which means it is a money sink in a way. You keep buying new cards, and you want to build the best decks, and you need to have a community, and you need to have people who play it. I never really had it never really caught on here. At least I never had a bunch of friends that played Magic. So as a kid, I didn't play much Magic, but later in life, I did get the chance to do a couple of drafts. And drafts, I think, are probably the most enjoyable way to play Magic. And you could do that. It totally works these days as well. And you could totally do that, and it works for people who have never played Magic, or have never dealt with it, who have never played a collectible card game, have never played anything of this sort. It definitely works because Magic is a very simple game to learn, and also very simple game to teach. So you could definitely do this. The only problem about having a draft is that you need a good amount of time and a lot of people. Usually it's about 8 people, which is a lot. And what you do is you buy a giant booster pack. And a giant booster pack, I believe these go for about 50 bucks on eBay. And it doesn't really matter which generation or which type of booster packs. It doesn't really matter because everybody takes cards from that, and if nobody knows anything anyways about Magic, it really, really, really doesn't matter. So you buy them, and this giant booster pack is a giant box with a lot of smaller packs of cards. They're called, each one of them is actually called booster pack. The big thing, I don't know what it's called, but each one of them is called a booster pack. And this booster pack has an amount of cards, and what you do is you draft them. If you're drafting is a very... It's a term in I guess card games and board games. It's there's a lot of board games that use the term draft. But in case you're unfamiliar with it, what you do is everybody gets one of these booster packs, and they open them up, and let's say they have like 11 or 12 cards, I think. I honestly don't know. But you have an amount of cards, you pick one of them, and then you pass what remains to the guy next to you. And you do this clockwise or counterclockwise, it doesn't matter. And obviously you pass it to the guy, and you also receive from the guy. In this case, you pass it on to the guy on your left, and you receive from the guy on your right. And from those cards, which are the amount in a booster pack's -1, you again pick one card, and then you continue the process until you eventually get one single card that you don't pick because it's just one single card, and that's the card that you get. And through this, you build your own deck as you go along from the cards that you keep receiving. And in the end of this process, you have a deck that you mostly picked. Obviously, some of them have nothing to do with what you were going for because you just received like 2 cards that suck, and towards the end it gets like whatever. You just take the cards because they don't matter. And you receive roughly 60 or 65 or 70 or something along those lines of cards, and out of those cards you build a little bit of a smaller deck. I think it's roughly 40 card decks are a good goal to get to. You build a 40 card deck, and then you have a tournament with that. Everybody plays, and you have a tournament in whatever format you want. You could do one game against a person, and the loser gets eliminated and never plays again, or you could do everybody plays everybody, best of 3s, and then the top guys play finals, and whatever. It doesn't matter at this point. You build decks, and you just play with them, and you have fun. and the winner gets the remaining booster packs. There's usually like 3 or 4 booster packs remaining, so the winner gets those. Whatever, who cares? The point is that everybody could do this, even if you really, really know Magic and you're really good at this, or really good at games, or you've never done anything. Everybody starts from scratch and build their own deck. And though you can go online and see what cards are going to be in there and what kind of strategies and decks it makes sense to build, you could also just get a bunch of cards and pick something that looks cool and then just try and work that thing out. You know, you get a really cool red card, and then you just pick more red cards. And what I mean by red, by the way, we're going back to what's monochromatic. Magic has 5 colors, black, white, and RGB. And you could have a monochromatic deck with only 1 color, or you could have a deck with 2 colors, or you can even have a deck with 3 colors, which is usually 2 colors and a splash of a third one, which is kind of stretching it, because with the way that the game mechanics work, it's not easy to have a deck with 3 different colors. But not going into that any deeper, it's a pretty simple game to learn, and this is really cool. Looking at these cards that I got and these decks, it's been really cool. I've got this urge to get a draft, to buy a booster pack, and then find 7 people, which I need to find 7 other people that are willing to spend a day, because this is a time-consuming process. You do this entire rotation with new booster packs like 2 or 3 times, and then you have to build it, which takes like an hour or 2, depending on how slow everybody is in picking stuff and whatever. And then you have to build the decks, and then you have to do a tournament. So it takes quite a lot of time, but it's a lot of fun. It's a whole day to spend with people. It's a lot of fun. You could probably do this with less, with 6 or 4, but I think the most fun is 8 people. And, you know, if you, I guess like $50 divided by 4 people is really not a lot of money. Divided by 8 people, it's really, really not a lot of money. And it's a great experience. And you could actually replay that. You could take all the cards and try and rebuild booster packs, or just shuffle them and try and redraft them. Usually a booster pack has a bunch of common cards that are meh, a couple of cards that are magical, they're all magic, but a couple of cards that are better, and then 1 card that's really, really rare and really, really good and just more powerful than all the other ones. So you might want to rebuild them, whatever. Basically, you could play with the cards, and it's fun. And I'm actually really excited to take these cards and play with friends that have never played Magic and maybe teach them. You teach it really quickly, and a game is like 10 minutes, so it's fun to just play around and have, and just it's pretty great. And once we get bored of these specific decks that are just ready-made here inside the box, or the really ready-made, we could start, they're really basic as well. So once we get bored of them, we could start mixing and matching and making new decks that are bigger with you know, combining colors and blah 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 blah. I don't know how much of that I'll get to do, but I'll definitely play a little bit with some friends and maybe even family. It's a pretty simple game, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I like Magic. I like Magic a lot. This was a really cool gift that now I need to play Magic, and I need to find people to play Magic with, which is annoying. But there are ways to play this online, but I never really liked those. I love the tactile feel of sitting in front of a person holding the cards in your hand. That to me is I like feeling the thing. It's a lot of fun. But you could also play these online, I guess, if you really get into it. And yeah, Magic's pretty good. It's a really cool gift, and you should try it out in whatever format you choose to, or maybe just watch tournaments online, which is also a thing. But the tournaments online, you don't really understand what the hell's going on, and they don't do a very great explanation for newbies, for people who don't know what the card does. So it's not really great. But well, Magic is awesome. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.